Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Massive drops yesterday across the board. You can see Nasdaq went below their trading levels, and this is extreme buy zones. And usually, whenever we go that far, we fall that far. Usually, we get a short-term dead cat bounce. So where we gonna go, we'll see. You can see Nasdaq, S&P 500. Same thing here. You can see came very close to sell zone. Massive dump from there. Dow Jones, same thing. Russell 2000, same thing. And even Bitcoin, same thing. You can see from sell zone to the buy zone, from here to here, almost 8 and 9% dump. All right. Let's review all these. We'll review also all the commodities, major FANG stocks. Please hit the like button, guys. I really appreciate, and share this channel with friends and family. All right, so let's start with Bitcoin and crypto since we are there. So let's go to daily charts to see a bigger picture. And here you go. You can see this is Bitcoin here. You can see we now Bitcoin had a dump and then it's found support on this 20 moving average. Okay, so this is the rising EMA 20 moving average, and then BTC chart. If I go to 1 hour chart, I told yesterday she released a short video. This was the gap up. So this gap had to be closed. So they came back and filled this gap. And that's where we are right now. On 1 hour chart, they're facing some resistance on this blue line, which is 200 EMA. So if you go to daily chart, right now, this is a live market. You can see we have divergences. Okay, so we have to be careful here. Bitcoin is making higher high, RSI is making lower high, PPO is making lower high. Huge divergence on PPO and RSI. So it makes sense for it to cool down. All right. So now this was a big sell signal, but still it's finding support on its 20 moving average. So as long as it holds, it's all good. But if this breaks, next support, if you're gonna go probably somewhere here, it's gonna come. This is the area. All right, this is the area of support around, let's say, above 90,000. Okay, so it can come back. That's where these yellow and red lines are coming. 50 moving average EMA. It can find support here, but if that breaks, usually when we go straight up like this, we usually come down, straight down. I will show you example time and time again as well. You can see we went straight up, we came straight down here. Now we didn't go this level yet, but eventually it could happen. All right, just keep that in mind. You can see straight up here, straight up down. So you got to be very careful. Usually I don't like these straight moves higher. The only reason this time I'm more confident is because of this big election gaps. And if I go to these other indices like SPX, you can see this election gap. You can see same thing. Nasdaq had this election gap here, and Dow Jones had this election gap. It's almost filled in Dow Jones, and IWM is also already filled. All right, so these all other indices are very close to filling this election gap, but Bitcoin is way far. But you know, they can drop anytime. So just be careful. Just because there are so many divergences, green line is still below red line on PPO. So all indices, all indicators are telling me that it's time to be very careful and look to take profit as soon as you can. If not, just put stop loss. Okay, if it goes below certain point, you executed stop loss and you're still in profit. No reason to buy Bitcoin here. If people are saying it's going to 200K, 150K, it could, but not at this level. You want to wait for a pullback, buy on a pullback. All right, that's my suggestion. Ethereum, bigger pullback yesterday. Now in the middle, there is some support. It's finding support here, some support here. All right, you can see before also some instances here, previous all-time highs, so some support here. That's touching that here around 3,500. If this breaks, it's coming back to 200 as EMA and SMA. Here's the ETH gap. This is a gap down, so obviously it can go back, fill this gap up around 39, 37. If not, then it's going to come back all the way down to 2970 to fill this election gap here as well. So just keep that in mind. And that's it for today, guys, on crypto. So let's move to traditional market. SPX, I had to adjust my cycle counts a bit because previous cycle count was not working. So I had to adjust it slightly. So I made that adjustment. And now I'm looking for this, after this big sell-off above all moving averages, looking for this bottom to form around 20th of December. So probably um, in a couple of days, and then a dead cat bounce. It can happen today. This is a rising phase, so let's see how this thing plays out. This could have a dead cat bounce, and let's see if it's going to be taking out previous high or it's going to go back and fill this gap here. So in my opinion, it's just a speculation. I think it's best if this bounce happens and then we get rejected somewhere here, 50 moving average or 20 moving average. I don't know how far we're going to go, and then come back down to fill this election gap at minimum or even go lower. All right. So this is what I think I prefer. Now, if I want to go and I'm not going to be trading these. If I really want to be trading here, okay, my trading will be in, I'll be buying 3x ETFs here around to 54.10. So where we are right now, this is live market. These are the things which tell me, you can see RSI was also oversold, overbought, sorry, no, only yeah, oversold. You can see every time we touch this, this is usually a good area to buy. We were like way below, right? Straight dump. So, but I will be looking to buy in this area, okay? Let me see if I can find a brush here. This area, all right? This is 54.10 and below, okay? Above that, I will let it do its thing. I know 100% it will come there. At some point, you can see here also it came and touched, came very close here, and you can see it came and touch here. So it will touch eventually. We just need to be patient, and that's it. All right, so let's go back to our daily chart. And on NASDAQ, same thing here, looking for a bounce. And then election gap is way far here on NASDAQ. So it's going to take a while, but there's still a couple of gaps here. And there was a gap here, which filled, basically there was a gap up on 4th of December. They came back, filled that gap here. Now there are a couple of gaps still at the bottom. And then there's this major election gap, which 100% be filled. We wait and see when it gets. Okay, so now going to Dow Jones. Dow Jones almost filling this gap, massive pullback. Since top, Dow Jones is down from here to here, 6%. So it's mainly due to UNH, like I've been telling. Yesterday it was holding good. So UNH had a 9 count SPY signal. Let's see. I don't know if I don't think it's going to be a V-shaped recovery. This big earnings gap can be filled. Okay, so there's no divergence. It can bounce and it can fail and come back here. All right. So what I think most likely can happen is it will bounce, find some resistance here, and then come back to fill some of these earnings gap here. Okay, so that would be a good area to buy, and that when that happens, we'll have some divergences built up on RSI and PPO, and that would be when I will be looking to load on this. Again, back to Dow Jones, this gap could be filled, election gaps almost there. So they will probably come back and fill that gap, and then we'll see what happens from there. IWM Russell is the weakest fill. They already filled that election gap here, and the next gap is here all the way down to 211. So they could come and fill that gap as well near 200 EMA and SMA. Crude oil finally trying to bounce, and hopefully uh, some of the miners will pick up. But you can see very nice breakout of all moving averages. Came back to find support on this 20 moving average and now trying to go higher. All right. Did that happen before? You can see here it tried, but it made a lower high and then failed. Here it backed down and tried to go up, but then gap down next day. And here it tried to rally, but did not have support. So this could be a good indication right now. If it breaks this previous high, which is around 71, if it breaks that, goes in this zone, that would be a nice indication that crude oil finally now going ready for a breakout. So building this energy in this area since September, okay? So 3-4 months just consolidation here. That should help CNQ. Now, energy sector actually had a mini crash or maybe a major crash from top to the bottom, 14%. Okay, that's a big amount. You can see it went straight up, now giving all the way back. So same thing here, right? CNCO going down with so many gaps to fill. There is a minor gap around 28.95. I don't know if they're going to fill right now or when, but all depends on crude oil. But you can see it's very, RSI is very oversold. If I go to 1 hour chart, you can see divergences building like on 1 hour chart. Same thing on energy sector. Divergences are no, not on XLE looks like but still very oversold. I think CNQ is showing some divergence. Uh, PPO is showing, RSI might not be showing. So we'll see how the day goes. All right. Um, okay, so let's move on to natural gas. Natural gas is looking good above all moving averages price and looking for a new high. That's good. Gold is, this was weaker after that Fed and Jerome Powell speech. Looking for some support around 2400 and then at least touching this 200 EMA SMA around 2460. Silver is also weak, already touching that support. We could even extend this line and silver could even come all the way down to 25, 26 level. Okay, that's where nice support is. Copper is weak, just barely hanging here. There's some support here on copper, this whole area. So let's see if it can bounce from here. Sugar is weak again, having some support in this whole area. It looks like it's going to come a little lower. Wheat is also weak, not buying until it touches 570. Corn is also still holding above 200 EMA SMA, so still can bounce. Dollar was the story. It's now this resistance became a support. So now it's again it's going higher. So because of Fed Jerome Powell, dollar made a new high. Next resistance will be probably here. So this is a big news for dollar, guys. If it goes there, then it's going to be more pain for Bitcoin and gold. Keep that in mind. In terms of FANG stocks, all of them were selling. Apple did not do much. It's like what 2%, nothing for that. Facebook also not a lot of sell-off, just for little pullback. Amazon had a nice pullback, but there's also this earnings gap. So you have to keep an eye. Google had a nice pullback, but again, you can see all these gaps still there. All these will be filled. Microsoft has a nice pullback, but again, this gap is there for 31. So I do feel like this is going to be a dead cat bounce and then come back to fill some of these other gaps. ServiceNow gave all away. This gap was filled. Still there were the gaps here. NVDA again up pre-market. 8 counts buy signal could be coming to this 119. So just keep that in mind. AVGO massive earnings gap. Tesla again up pre-market after giving almost 10% yesterday. But this sounds like a this looks like a blow off top. So even a bounce should fail and come back later. AMD is something which I like to buy at these levels. It's coming near 117. So let's see, they could come make it more lower here if they want. Shopify, massive gap. Again, all these had a nice pullback. CRM, one of my subscribers was very interested in this. I said, look to take profits. It was here somewhere, but now it's trying to fill this gap. There's also a gap here, 297. So gaps do get filled, guys. It's just a matter of time. We don't know when. 90% of the gaps get filled. I don't see anything interesting. VIX, okay, so VIX had a gap. I said yesterday, 20 gap. If you guys are watching my channel, that's filled. You can delete it. Now, no gaps to the top. There's a gap here around 12.78. So if VIX gets crushed, that means SPX is going higher and we might have seen the bottom. So we'll see how it goes. Market is about to open, so we'll see how things shape up. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Hit the like button on your way out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.